Yeah, when you guys hear that little Indian on there, that's when we're live. All right, guys. We're having some technical difficulties, but I think we figured it out for our viewers out there. We have some couple cool guests here. I think this is a cool episode. Um, yeah, I'm excited for this, especially for the youth in our community, but also across like First Nation country, Indian country, for all our kids. We have a couple young hockey players here, a couple of young men, young studs, and they're going to share their story and their journey to where they are today, where hockey has taken them. So, again, welcome back to the Seven Generation Podcast. My name is Fraser Heathen, as you all know. Today, we've got a very special episode. Joining us are two young Indigenous hockey players who just wrapped up their first pro season. One of these warriors is right here from Onion Lake, representing our home turf with pride, and the other is a talented young man from Yellow Quill First Nation, proving that native excellence is rising strong in the hockey world. We're going to talk about their journey, challenges, first season memories, and what lies ahead. So for the viewers out there, hopefully the audio is coming through. If it ain't, let us know in the comments and we'll try to fix that. But yeah, we'll keep going here. So getting to know the players. Can you each introduce yourselves, where you're from, what position you play, and what team you played for this past season?
Hey everyone, my name is Dustin Perlat. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's where I was born and raised most of my life, but I'm also registered with Yellow Quill First Nation out in Treaty 4 territory. Um, I just finished my first professional season with the Macon Mayhem, and I am a defenseman, left-handed defenseman.
Cool.
Hello, everyone. My name is Larry Patagan Jr. I am here from Onion Lake. I am 21 years old, and the last team I played for was the Watertown Wolves.
Position.
I'm a right-handed defenseman.
Both of you?
Yeah.
I missed that. You're right.
Left-handed.
Left-handed.
We were actually D partners in Watertown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Okay. How did you first get into hockey? Who inspired you growing up?
Me probably would have been my older brother for sure. Watching him obviously skate and play hockey first, but I imagine inspired me to play. And then I would like to say too, my dad, he probably originally wanted to get me on skates as well. So I would say my brother and my dad for sure inspired me to start playing hockey.
My mom threw me in hockey, got me skating, but my dad did most of my training growing up. So I took in a lot from those two to become who I was today. And I think I had those two and an old coach that used to coach here a long time ago named Kelly Zacharias. He was a hell of a coach that I really look forward to seeing every year, every time I see him. He's the one that taught me a lot. So
Deadly. What were some big differences between minor hockey and your first year at the pro level?
Go ahead, take this one.
minor hockey, a lot of traveling. That was the big difference is the traveling. Some games you're playing 7 hours away, and that's in our league. That's like an okayish traveling distance. But if you go to places like North Carolina or Baton Rouge, those are like 15-20 hour bus drives. Compared to minor hockey, your like farthest travel is probably like 4 hours, 5.
Couple hours.
Yeah, but I'd say the traveling part and the crowds that you draw in each city you go to, because each city you go to, it's always a hockey town.
Really sold
So
out.
most barns, they are, yes, they sell out, really loud. um it's a different atmosphere playing pro hockey compared to minor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you have to learn on the ice and off the ice when transitioning to pro. So
Yeah, for me, it would be traveling as well. Minor hockey for me was in the city of Saskatoon my whole entire life. So, I mean, going to a hockey game was only 10 minutes away rather than what Laird described, a game in going from Watertown to Baton Rouge, which is from the top of the USA to the bottom,
yeah.
down to the Gulf of Mexico. So that's definitely the biggest part or difference anyway for me.
And I guess just living on your own too. That's the big one.
Yeah.
You're living on your own. You're making your own money. So then you gotta prioritize how you spend your money. So that's the big part.
Got a budget.
Yeah, budget.
Yeah, I guess too living on your own too. I mean, you go into an apartment and Lair obviously he didn't know his roommate Ross Bartlett going in, so
Yeah.
luckily for me I knew my roommate Jewett and Blacksmith. But yeah, getting used to living on your own as an adult, and then having to for Lair was having to meet somebody totally new, right, and then having to live with them
Yeah.
is one thing is too. So
Is that the guy that was pretty wild? Or not that guy? Was that another guy?
He was wild in his terms. Yeah. He was wild in his ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What was your mindset heading into your first season? Were you nervous, excited?
for me it was definitely nervous. I was the nerves were there just because I wasn't physically ready. My body wasn't ready to go for the start of the season, and I was in scramble mode to get myself ready. Um, Working out twice a day when I got to Watertown because I think I only had 2 weeks to get ready, and I did nothing in the summertime. So I went in basically out of shape and a few steps behind everybody on the ice, and that's what I was most nervous about, was whether or not I could keep up with everybody and stick around for the whole season. And so, yeah, I went in. I flew to Ottawa, and then I drove down with Chewett and Blacksmith. And yeah, as soon as I crossed that border, man, switch just flipped in my mind that there's work to do, and I am behind everybody else. And I'm sure having that mindset is what helped me finish the season for my first professional year of hockey.
Deadly. Lair, what was your mindset heading into your first season? Were you nervous, excited?
Oh, I was really nervous actually. Really nervous going into the going into the league, knowing I was the youngest one. Knowing I was the youngest one, and joining the team that I don't even know. I don't even know the guys. I don't know a single person in Watertown. Um, Plus, it was a bit of adjustment because I was used to just playing with a bunch of teenagers growing up, and then now just to transition and straight to men, grown men was a little different, but I felt like I blended in very well due to my size, and I feel like I'm still finding more potential as I play. So I feel like I was really fitting in well when I was there. But it was it was hard. I had to like really bear down when I was there. I was the youngest one. I was because everyone's there to do their job, right? And now that playing professional, it's my job that I can't lose it. So I had to work out. I had to stay healthy in order to keep making money, keep playing. So, um, I guess it's it's not easy requesting time off either, knowing when you need it, because it could do a lot to your reputation when you ask for time off from your coach. But um,
What would be an example of that? Like time
like
off to rest and recover, or
time off to rest and recover, yes, but you'd have to be smart with it. Like you'd have to like ask right after weekends, not before not before game days.
oh yeah,
So you'd have to get it treated really early into the week, early into the week or early in a season. It doesn't matter, but I think past that halfway point of the season, you really have to bear down. But yeah,
yeah, deadly. um, moving on. What was the toughest part of adjusting to the next level?
For me, it was definitely the speed of the game. You're playing with grown men. Um, I mean, yeah, like my last full year would have been junior, so I was playing with teenagers, right? And then having to go right into my first year pro right away. Um, yeah, you're playing with grown men, and I mean the size difference is just it's a huge difference, anyways, for the size, and then the speed of the game too is just incredible. I mean, some guys just have incredible speed on the ice, and that's why I was most nervous going into my first year of pro was the speed because I knew I was one or two steps behind everybody, and that was the biggest adjustment for me was getting used to the speed of the game because I always knew the IQ was there. It was just getting used to the speed again was going to be my biggest hurdle, and obviously being able to play a lot of minutes as well, being uh, one of Watertown's. Well, me and Larry were basically Watertown's top D pairing because me and him were D partners, and we had played a lot of minutes right away the first game. And I remember the first game too. The coach had asked me, "Are you okay to keep playing some more minutes here?" Because I was absolutely sucking air in the third period. And here Larry was sitting on the bench just fine because he's just Larry was just in great shape, and here I was sucking air. And he's like, "Are you okay to keep going out there?" And he's like, "You could take a couple shifts off." I was like, "No, I'm good to go." But here I was dying here.
That's rank, man. um, Larry, you have anything you want to add to that, or move on?
what was the question?
Um, what was the toughest part
Toughest
of
part.
adjusting to the next level?
Yep, probably the speed. Yep, the speed and the atmosphere and opposing teams' barns. Learning how to soak in the criticism coming from the opposing fans, because some of the fans could get dirty, but
Really?
knowing you can you have to know how to bounce back from it, so
Whoops,
that was
sorry,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, deadly. Next question. Can you share a highlight moment from your first season? Could be a goal, a game, or something off the ice.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I guess a highlight for me personally would have been when I was in Macon. We were playing against Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, and we were winning. And it was the last dying minutes of the game, and Roanoke had pulled their goalie, trying to come within a goal of our goals. I think it was 4-2, and they were trying to score a 4-3 goal to get one closer, obviously. And I was out there on the ice, and they dumped it in, and my goalie Josh Boyko went out behind the net, and I went back to go to the corner to be an option for him to pass it to me, and I screamed over to pass it to me, and he turned around and he looked straight up the ice, and he let one fly down the ice over everybody's heads. And sure enough, he scored himself a goalie goal. And not to mention, he was injured for almost the whole entire first half of the season. So this was his first game back from injury. And he went and scored a goalie goal and then obviously got the win for us. And
Oh,
it
really?
made TSN and everything.
Did he get called up after that?
No, he
No?
didn't get called up,
No?
but he did play on the East Coast
Yeah.
for the majority of the previous season. So
Yeah. Okay.
It was on
Yeah.
TSN.
yeah, he made
Yeah,
TSN
it
and
did,
everything.
It
and
made
the
TSN.
goalie
it
goal.
was,
So
it was
that
on
was
Instagram, Facebook.
Wow.
it was pretty cool to be a part of that. And I was just happy for the guy too. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went through a bit of a tough first half of the season with his ankle injury that he went through, and then to come back and score a goal.
And he kind of like misread that, like you were saying over here.
Yeah, well, no,
And then he was like thinking
He-
over everybody.
yeah, because usually when your goalie goes back behind the net to stop the puck, both D-man go to either corner for either a backhand pass or a forehand pass. And I yelled forehand, and
Okay.
he didn't even
He just looked you off.
didn't even care what I was screaming at him. Right, he already had that in his mind that he was gonna turn the puck up ice, take a shot at the net. Sure enough, he put that puck in the back of the net at home in Macon.
Wins the
Holy
game.
crap! I've never heard that rink louder.
Yeah.
Deadly. Lair, same thing. Can you share a highlight moment from your first season, a goal, a game, or something off the ice?
Yeah, I'd say when we beat Binghamton in their home opener. That was a pretty dead barn right after the final buzzer.
Away game?
Away game.
Yeah, that was their banner night.
It was their banner night.
'Cause
It
they
was sold out crowd and it was quiet after the game.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Binghamton, they had won the league prior
Oh,
the year
really?
before, so
And
they
it
were
was-
raising their banner and
I
they had
Oh,
the big
okay.
President's Cup in the building.
What was their capacity in that rink? Like 7, 8, 9,000?
7,000, I think, or something like that.
And they sold out. It
Really?
was packed.
And we went,
Like after like each hit, like in that game, it like you could feel the fans. You could feel the atmosphere in your body.
And you guys silenced him.
Yeah, silenced them. We beat them, and then I ended up getting the second star of that game with 2 assists.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was my most memorable part.
Deadly. How has your identity as an Indigenous athlete shaped your journey?
And there were some turns throughout my career, definitely. It turned. I turned out to be pretty all right. I went through a lot of criticism, racism in my early junior years because that's when Hockey Canada. That was before Hockey Canada started to take a step within the racism part. But I believe after I think my 18, 19 year, I believe things started to get better for me, like as of off the ice. But yeah, I think early in my junior year, knowing I was so young, I guess people thought it was pretty easy to dish out slurs at me. So, and for me, hearing them that young, I soaked it in. I let my emotions wrap around it. Kind of ate me out alive a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of them, but after I've got some help from other people outside of the hockey world, I finally was starting to feel more comfortable going to more outings as a team events too, even just outside of hockey. It's life has gotten easier, in my opinion. And I guess just soaking in the moments as being an Indigenous athlete, because not not everyone gets to experience it,
Yeah.
and most people would trade spots with me, you know. So I think just soaking in that emotion and feeling it, writing it, and then moving on from it, you know. So I feel like it carved me as a person, carved me, it shaped me for who I am today, and I'm glad it did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to share my experience and the advice to go through it. But yeah,
Yeah.
For me, being an Indigenous athlete and how it shaped me is one word I can think of is just being resilient. Um, that's one word I like to think of myself as being resilient because I grew up in the city, obviously, and I obviously most of my teammates were always other white kids, right? So I've my whole entire life I've known nothing but playing with the majority of my teammates being white, and still to this day, right? I was only when I left Watertown, I was the only Indigenous player on my team in Macon. Um, and then that just goes to show how grateful I was to be in Watertown with Lair, our other buddy Jewett and Blacksmith. It made it that much easier for myself for my first full year to adjusting to it of having another Indigenous athlete from Saskatchewan like Lair.
yeah,
And then obviously Chewy too, being a veteran on the Watertown team as well. He kind of guided us to but yeah, just being an Indigenous athlete shaped me to be resilient, kind of have thick skin, and one kind of like little uh, thing that helped me to fight through maybe adversity or tough times, being an athlete, facing racism was I always looked at it as if I was facing racism like that. I always tried to think, well, they're just jealous of you. They're just they're jealous of your skill, right? Not your skin. And that's why they're choosing to take that route.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I tricked myself into taking it. It was just to, use it to know that I'm a better athlete skill wise than the people who are treating me differently. That's how I tricked myself into using it anyway,
Yeah.
being an Indigenous athlete.
That's pretty deadly, man. If you don't mind, could you repeat that? Um, your skin versus or like,
skill.
skill.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to racialize your skin instead of your skill?
Yeah. How did you say that?
I just tricked myself into when I faced racism that they were jealous of my skill and not my skin.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. It's deadly.
Can I add a question onto that question?
Yeah, man.
If you guys could give advice to like the up and coming kids that are trying to follow in that footstep, they're trying to take that step towards becoming a better athlete. But if you could give them advice on how to handle racism and all these negative things that are going to come, what you guys dealt with, if you could give advice to them or even your younger self, what advice would you give them to kind of prepare them for what's to come ahead?
Well, racism in sports, it happens all over the world
Yeah, it's always going to be there.
for any ethnicity. And the best way I handled it was just to kind of throw it back in their face with working twice as hard as they do, shoving it down their throat, beating them twice as bad on the score clock rather than mouthing off and stooping down to their level. So
Yeah. Or if I could catch them with their head down, then that's even better.
that's most ideal. Is
yeah,
a big hit center ice.
Yeah, that's usually it. Yeah, what Dustin said, work twice as harder. Let their comments fuel your rage that you feel within after feeling those emotions from those slurs. Yeah, it's just use it towards good exercises, use it as fuel for your exercises. It could be like a mental health exercise, use it towards that, or a physical exercise. You know,
Even
just don't keep that energy inside you. You know, try
Yeah.
release it by doing something. That's probably the best.
yeah, and like
best thing
with
I'd
Blair,
say.
just like what he just said, sometimes when I would hear a comment that was negative towards myself, I remember specifically this year, I went into the gym and I was absolutely angry, right? And I was on the bike and I kind of just remembered back to what that comment was, and it kind of just fueled me to work that much harder to basically push myself on the bike while I was working out, and I'd use that energy in a positive way to help myself.
Hitting new PRs
That's exactly
with all the
what I was
fuel,
trying to do.
man. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Deadly. Um, how important is it for you to represent your nation when you put on that jersey, especially at the pro level?
I feel proud, you know, because knowing I'm the first one in Onion Lake to do so at this age, I feel pretty proud to do it because not very many people, not very many kids my age can do it. But yeah, I'm actually really grateful to be where I'm at and what I've done and to represent Onion Lake. So
It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Same thing as Lair. I was, I think, the first professional hockey player to come out of my own reserve, Yellow Quill First Nation. So, and I remember posting a picture on Facebook of me, Lair, and our buddy Chewit and Blacksmith, and the caption was based on the picture. I think it was Lair was first. We were all synced up skating in a perfectly synced stride.
perfectly
After
first stride.
after a goal we just scored in Binghamton, and Lair was
home
first.
opener.
I was in the middle, and Chewitten was last. But we were all right next to each other, taking the first stride.
The
to go-
biggest smile, ear to ear smile, and we're
Yeah.
taking.
And
the
I
first
remember
stride.
the caption was basically Onion Lake, Saskatchewan, Yellow Quill, Saskatchewan,
And
and then
Waswanipi, Quebec.
Waswanipi, and that was the order of the picture
Yeah.
of how we were standing and skating on the ice. And
Yeah,
I remember being so proud of that picture because it was just us three Indigenous boys from Canada, and
just living the dream,
Yeah.
having fun. You know.
it was a pretty cool picture to have of us three.
Yeah.
That's deadly, man. um, okay, so moving on to the next question. What advice would you give to young First Nations kids dreaming of making it to the next level?
Um, um, just keep working hard. That's the big thing. Everyone says it. Doesn't get old, but that's never gonna change as long as you work hard. It's everything's gonna fall into place in your ways as you like it. Um, I'm sure like if you work as hard as you can, the things will be pretty easy to come. You know, that's also talking about off ice stuff like your mentality.
Diet.
Yeah, your diet, your nutrition, your playing abilities. You know, that all plays a big part. But yeah, I'd say just grind. Just keep working hard. Um and finish your school too. That's the big part.
Yeah.
Get your grade 12. As soon as you get that, you'll be open options for post secondary, or it'll be a lot easier for pro teams to pick you up too. So,
Mm.
so grade 12 diploma, get that, and just keep grinding. grind off ice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was basically all I was gonna say is focus on your grade 12, get your diploma, make sure those grades are good because I always say in my personal experiences, one of my biggest regrets is not getting good grades in high school because it affected me. What I tried to do last fall was I had applied for post secondary out in Vancouver and they turned me down because of my grades in high school. And now I always tell everybody that I come across that's just a young kid coming up that you got to take school serious up until at least grade 12. Get good grades, stay in school because it may affect what you want to do later in life. Because obviously, I mean, you could take the trade school route, which I also did. I was a welder for 2 years, and then you might get sick of trades and you might want to try the university route. So school is a big part of growing up as a kid, and getting your grade 12 diploma and getting good grades is it'll set you up for options that you'll need or may want in the future.
Yeah, deadly, man. I like that. Mitch, you want to add anything to that?
Mm,
Kind of on the same kind of message, because that applies everywhere, right? Like, doesn't
Yeah.
matter what field you're in or what background you're coming from.
yeah, like education is definitely important. I don't think a lot of kids really realize how important it is. Like even me growing up, I wish I could have went back and improved my grades. Would have helped out a lot. Like just see when you're in school, you don't really think much of it. You're just there. You want to have fun. You want to get out of school. You don't pay attention and try to go for grades when really you should because it's gonna help you in the long run.
Yeah.
Getting that not only getting the grade 12, but making sure all your grades are as high as they can be, giving it 110% because you never know when you're gonna need that again, right?
Yeah.
So education definitely important for anything, anything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's something I try to um share with kids too. Like, try to tell kids whenever I'm in a space where they are, or if I have to talk to them, or um yeah, like just sharing time with them. That's one thing I try to encourage too for them. um yeah, I don't know, like for me it's something that was important to me as a kid growing up. Like, I played hockey too, but I was never that great. Yeah, and for some reason I always kind of knew or felt that education was important, so I have always like had a natural tendency to want to keep my grades up all throughout school. um and yeah, like all like high school, junior high, even elementary. And when I graduated grade 12, it opened a lot of doors for me.
Yeah.
Like you said, like getting into certain schools, right? My grades were good enough to get me into like 80 or 90% of the schools. I wasn't like real high up there, but good enough to give me options for which school I wanted to get into, but also which program I wanted to get into. So for some reason, yeah, I always kind of knew or felt that was important. So that's a message that I try to share with kids all the time. And it's cool to hear you guys talking about that because you guys are hockey players, and you're playing at the pro level, but you're also emphasizing that. So kind of reinforcing that message that school's important. And even what
Yeah.
Mitch was saying too. So yeah,
But
man.
even so, like when your grades are so good and you're an athlete, they kind of go hand in hand because scholarships start to open up.
Yeah,
You can go quite a ways just on scholarships. You can go be playing somewhere like Michigan, anything like that, and then just going to those kind of schools kind of gives you an extra step towards going towards professional level. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next question. How are you guys training and preparing for your next season?
Um, I've got some plans with myself. I'm actually working on my green card to go back down to the States. Um, I just got back to Canada, I think April 10th or something like that. And then I plan to go back May 20th. So I'm not going to be here too long before I plan on going back down to Dublin, Georgia, which is 45 minutes outside of Macon. And I had actually met my girlfriend now, who I'm seeing. She lives in Dublin, and she's going to be helping me train for the summer. I just figure it's best for myself to stay away from my friends up here for now, to because I know this summer is going to either make or break my career on whether or not I want to go up another league or two. And yeah, I'll be training and skating in Dublin, and skating out of Columbus, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia. So just here for a couple more weeks, and then back down south I go to work out for the summer and train down south in Georgia.
Yeah. Stay focused. Stay away from like temptation and peer pressure and things like that.
That's exactly why I made the decision to go back down there right away after the tournaments are all over.
After the Freddy, eh?
That's right. Yeah, who I'm playing with Onion Lake as well.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Deadly. Lair? You want me to repeat the question?
Sure.
How are you training and preparing for your next season?
Right now I'm just training injury prone kind of workouts at the moment, because as of right now I'm playing res tournaments. The rec tournaments, that's all I'm playing so far. So I think once after I'm done the rec tournaments, I will go into my phase 1 of my workouts, and that's pretty much like my strength building phase, where it's where I put in a decent amount of muscle mass. Hopefully it's kind of like my bulking phase of my off season. So get started into that, which is going to be a lot of heavy lifting. And then I have like 2 other different phases of workouts that I would normally have in the off season. The second one is usually resistance training, so like kind of like speed and resistance training. And then the last phase would be the conditioning part, which I don't think any hockey player likes. So just I guess having organized workouts, knowing what to do at a certain time during the off season, when to switch over, because after so long people would just get bored of the same workouts, doing it over for like 2 months straight. So switch it up after the 2-month mark, and then start training the other parts. But also the dieting part I'm also doing as well. A lot of organic foods that I'm doing, and a lot of vitamin and mineral intake that I'm doing. So that's going to be playing a huge part of my off season. So
I have a question. Do they like talk to you guys, like the team, the coaches, management, or anybody? Do they talk to you guys about like what it takes to be a pro or to play and stay at this level? Like, do they tell you guys, be consistent with your working out, speed, things like that? Like, or is that something like you just do your own self-evaluation, your family tells you? Or
it's when you're a pro, that's like a different meaning. That's like meaning like you are your own boss.
You're already there, essentially.
You're already there. So
the
you're
responsibility.
it's your responsibility to put in the work and stay that good. It's just like working a normal day office job. You're gonna have to say you're right about like 5 to 6 papers a day occasionally.
Yeah.
Hockey player, you're gonna have to say for me as a defenseman, I'd put up like at least 1 point a weekend, but I would be playing a ton of minutes. I'd be playing like 25 to 30 minutes a night, and that's quite a bit for a defenseman. So for me, I comparing it to an office job, I'd have to keep the goals to 0, if not plus on my stats, and fit in like a couple points. That'd be ideally for a defenseman, and a lot of like defensive stats like blocking shots, hitting, creating offensive turnovers, defensive turnovers.
Yeah.
Those are like getting paperwork done. Like that's like comparison for hockey players. That's what it is. That's showing up every night. That's what it is. So
rank.
like during hockey games, those are our working hours.
Yeah.
That's where we gotta put our best ability to use.
Gotta produce.
Is on the weekends. Yes, that's when that's when you matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I noticed when you're kind of like, back to your question there, when they say like how to stay in the professional leagues and how to be a professional. Believe it or not, I found anyway, for most of the part of the year, is since we are already there in the professional hockey leagues, it's your own responsibility basically just to take care of your body on and off the ice. All your eating essentially that you do at home is all your own responsibility. Like, you got to cook yourself healthy food every day. Personally, I meal planned every day. But back to your question, I always found that that specific question, it stemmed from like junior, like when you're younger, like the league before professional. So for Lair coming out of junior last year, that's why maybe where he would have heard that question on how to be ready to be a professional, or how to play in the professional leagues.
Yeah.
That's what I found anyway.
Yeah, I know, that's cool. Because like sometimes we read online, right? Like routines of the pros, right? Like Sidney Crosby or whoever, right? And how strict they are with their diet, what they do, their workouts. Like even Ethan Bear, right? I know, like just reading and following kind of those stories, like being, I don't know, criticized about wanting to improve your speed. So attacking that, or going into that zone and working on that. Yeah, like just, so I guess that's kind of where it was coming from. Like, where does the motivation come from? Do you guys have access to the stats, like shot blocking and shots on net? And
Yeah, believe it or not, in the SPHL they have this thing called Instat, and it gives you every stat possible, like where you shoot the puck from, in which zone of the offensive zone.
Where on net did you put the puck?
Yeah.
Really?
Or did you put it over the net? Yeah.
And it shows you every
hit you've taken, every turnover you've had.
Really?
So do you guys use that a lot, kind of like as your own feedback? You guys constantly look at it and you're like, oh, okay, I gotta do this and that.
My coach actually a few times throughout the year, he would say, because they even send you like the full replay of the game, and then it'll send you all your shifts of just you on the ice, so you can watch every single one of your shifts on the ice throughout the game. And then also for the stat side of it, it'll show you every single game that you've played throughout the year, and your time on ice, and then their average.
Wow.
Shows you everything. And it's not, sometimes there has been a few mistakes on it, but for the most part, it's pretty damn accurate, and it's cool to see like where you shoot the puck on net.
Yeah, and it shows like how much of an impact you were to that game. It'll show like numbers on the side of your name, and it'll show like it's called like an index.
Yeah.
If you get like a really high number, like 200s, I think it shows that you were producing more than I think 40% in the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your guys' report card. Their name pretty
Essentially,
much
Yeah,
after.
that's
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, man. That's like really closely monitored, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's. I didn't even know that stuff existed until this year, and having to sign
Yeah.
up for it. It was,
Wow.
at first, I honestly didn't pay attention to it, but then, when my coach started asking me about if I had read the Instat report and watched my own shifts back, that's when I was like, well, I got to start taking a peek at this,
That really
because
helped.
it does matter. It
Yeah.
does help, honestly. Like
Yeah.
you watch back your game and your shifts, and you realize what you could have done better.
Yeah. Cool.
And then even working out probably too, like it tells you, like you could interpret that to what you want to focus on when you're working out to kind of improve these numbers or bring these numbers down.
Yep, yeah, it can. Definitely. Like, let's say you've taken um let's say you've taken 10 hits in a game, right? But let's say 8 of those hits were in a corners. So that means you're getting caught in the corners. So you would have to try and improve your foot speed of getting out of there. So that's what it would translate to. Then once you start doing that, that number in the corners will decrease to like 1 or none, knowing how well you could get out of those corners. So
Yeah. So do they give you guys like an evaluation after every game? Do they tell you like this is what I think you need to work on, or do they just tell you to look at your what is that called, Instat?
Instat.
Do they just tell you
Instat,
look
yeah.
at that and they expect you guys to fix whatever you need to work on, or
no, some coaches will be gutsy and just tell him in game like, hey, like tighten up back there, like tighten up on this and that, and then automatically as a pro you'd have to fix it. If not,
Yeah.
you're gonna be sitting out. So you'd have to be mentally ready to take criticism from your coach while playing.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, personally, I've never had a sit down this year with my both coaches that I played for this year in Watertown and Macon. But towards the end of the season in Macon, I remember I got scratched 2 games, and I was expecting to have a meeting with my coach and basically him telling me what I needed to work on and why I'm sitting right. And I was expecting to go into his office, get called into his office, and nothing had ever happened. Essentially, it was up to me to put in that work in practice again to get back to playing in the lineup. So in practice, I would stay on the ice. I would make sure I was the last guy on the ice. I would do a little bag skate for myself, and I'd do a workout after as well. And eventually, the coach put me back in the lineup, and yeah, nothing was said. It was just a matter of him basically sending a message without saying anything.
Yeah.
And it obviously it worked. I mean, I put in extra work, and sure enough, I was back in the lineup.
Deadly, man. This is pretty awesome to hear you guys' your story. What are some personal goals you've set for yourself heading into year 2?
I guess just my main goal is to be dominant. To be dominant on the back end, making a name for myself, even though I'm so young. I want people to, or I want coaches to say like, if they're looking for a defense, I'm the first person it's gonna pop up for them. I want to be that person. So that, I guess that is my goal, which it's gonna be a lot of work to do, but I'm willing to do it. It's a great challenge, and it will be a great challenge for my career. Yeah, but I think my main goal for year 2 is just be dominant. I don't want to be good. I don't want to be called skilled. I just want to be called dominant. I want to dominate every battle that I face this season on and off the ice. So that's my main goal.
Deadly.
Yeah.
For me, I guess there's two parts to it, but they're kind of both tied together depending on how the first one goes. And it's for me, it's working out this summer, getting myself physically ready because honestly, I struggled this past year with being able to play 25, 30 minutes a game and then say you got to go into overtime. I'm already gassed, like I'm seized up. So I noticed that was an issue for me personally. So this summer is going to be my goal is just to be in the best shape of my life going into this second year professional hockey. And then if I can do that, um, my ultimate goal is to get an ECHL camp invite and hopefully crack an ECHL team's roster for the start of the season. And that all depends on getting myself ready, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, mine would be to play in the ECHL next.
Deadly. What was the biggest surprise this season playing at this level? What would you say? The intensity, physicality, the quickness of the game, speed of the game?
Mm,
Or is it something you were already anticipating? You're like I know this is gonna be high level and I gotta be ready.
For me, it was fighting in hockey. In the professional, at any professional league, it's just a part of the game. Um, for me, it's getting used to that. I mean, I'm not much of a fighter myself on the ice, and I remember the one game I was tapped on the shoulder by the coach. Hey, I don't come off the ice and without a fight. I was kind of nervous, right? Because I'm first of all, I think I only had one fight in my entire life on the ice, and it was a midget. It was at a training camp in midget, and other than that, yeah, I'm getting used to the fighting aspect of professional hockey was a bit of a learning experience for me. And after I did the first one, got through the first fight when I was down with Macon, it kind of came natural to me after that to be able to just auto shed the mitts. It was I even told my coach too. I was like, it was something I had to learn to do in order to stick around and in professional hockey. It's how some players go up leagues. Honestly, it's just them fighting, and it's how you get noticed sometimes. And being able to stick up for your teammates is a big part of being a good teammate and a professional hockey player. So that was an eye-opening experience for me. It was seeing how the fighting affects the game and how it can change the tide of a game.
Yeah. Fighting was the big one because fighting actually civilizes the game. That's why most pro teams they have heavyweights
Yeah.
on the team
Goons.
for that purpose is to keep the game civilized. So yeah, the fighting was one of them. What was the question?
What was one of the biggest surprises coming out of the season? Looking back at the season, what was one of the biggest surprises for yourself looking back in year one at this level?
Yeah, the fighting was the big one. And seeing how so normal it was, and then seeing those two guys after the game talking in the hallway like nothing happened. Like it's a gentleman's game if you think of it. Like if you actually go behind the scenes of a hockey game and see what all goes on, it's pretty much a gentleman's game on most part of it. And I guess me as an underage Indigenous person, it was I felt special going out into town with my white teammates, including Dustin, even though he's not white, but he was one of the natives that I've always hung out with. When I was in Watertown, we'd do everything together. I guess just feeling welcomed in Watertown, knowing like small businesses, knowing us, me being able to stay in a bar, that made me feel like, I guess, welcome, but knowing I wasn't drinking, it still felt pretty cool to be part of that bonding with the older guys. So it felt pretty special, just being there too. So
That's pretty cool, man. Like just like in the movies, right? Like how they treat the teams or the local team. They like everyone knows them and they treat them good.
mm-hmm.
Kind of like that, eh?
Yep, kind of like that. Yeah, that's really well.
Deadly. Okay. Don't look at this, you guys. We'll throw a little curveball in here, a little quick lightning round.
Yeah.
Don't look. We'll go one after the other. Who's your favorite NHL player growing up?
Probably Roberto Luongo.
Really?
Him or Nicholas Lidstrom.
Why a goalie?
Well, my favorite team is the Vancouver Canucks, and he was the captain, and he led us all the way to the city being burned out.
Yeah,
He also took Team Canada to gold that year in
Yeah,
Vancouver.
and 2010,
Yeah,
in
he's-
2010, he won us a gold medal.
he's
Him and
awesome.
Crosby. But yeah, Nicholas Lidstrom, obviously being a defenseman, he's one of the best ever, winning the Norris, I think, 5 or 6 times, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
More than once anyway. And I remember watching him when him and Crosby went at it in the 08 finals, and just how poised and defensively sound he was. I remember watching, and he was one of my favorites just because he was just a natural leader, and I mean, being able to shut down world's best goal scorers in the ever, right? Like, I mean, in playing in the NHL is just incredible to watch. That you can shut down players.
Yeah.
Being a defenseman and being important to your team like that. And Nicholas Lidstrom was all of that and more.
Yeah. Deadly. There.
For me, it was Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin and the trio of Pittsburgh that is including Chris Letang and Sidney Crosby. Yeah, I liked the prime Malkin when he was just probably like, I don't know, he was for what year it was, I believe it was 13 or 14. He was unbelievable. He was popping off. He was with Crosby, winning a few. I guess he was with Crosby and Letang, and also Marc-Andre Fleury for a few cups.
Yeah.
So
Pittsburgh. Is that your
yeah.
favorite team?
was
Was.
Now I don't have a favorite team anymore. I'm just more of favorite players. Yeah.
Do you guys are you guys able or did you guys go watch NHL games down that way?
No, I never did, but got to see my first NFL game in Atlanta. That was pretty cool.
No, I haven't. Not down that way.
All right. Pre-game rituals, anything?
No, mine's just basically all based around nutrition for me anyway. Wake up in the morning, have a protein smoothie, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I just always follow the same meal plan on the game days. What works for me. Other than that, I'm pretty lax with the game day rituals or superstitions.
Yep, me too. The nutrition was the big one. I like good old steak and eggs in the morning, and electrolytes. It's the first thing I like to munch down on game days. But I think once I get to the rink, it's just automatic straight to stretching. Warm up my body first before I start doing my other stuff. But I think just stretching a lot just is my pregame, and a lot of two touch before the game. I like to play that a lot, get my hips going. Sometimes I move in ways that I don't think I imagine myself I can. So yeah, that's my pregame ritual.
Do you guys have any superstitious things that you do, like taping a stick a certain way or anything?
I put my skates on before I put my pants on.
Really?
Yeah.
No, nothing for me, surprisingly. But yeah, I've seen some pretty odd ones this year. Though.
I ever see Crosby's. Crosby still wears his same shoulder pads from when he was in juniors.
Yeah.
I seen one of my teammates put his hockey stick in the shower before the game,
Yeah, those are
fully
weird.
taped, ready to go. Like
Gave
Grabs
it
it.
a shower.
grabs it just before he leaves the room. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any superstitions. I just try to keep it lax, laid back, but also
Yeah.
focused on the job ahead of you at the same time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too wound up for the game or
Yeah.
too stressed out about what's going on around yourself.
Or else you'll just stress yourself way too much in a game, and then you'll start messing up. So
Funniest teammate this past season.
there was a few.
Maybe Schmitty.
I don't think he was funny. He was more of scary. I'd say probably JR.
Oh yeah, Junior.
JR was a character. He was like one of the oldest ones too. He was like 30, 33, 34.
Yeah.
One of the old guys, but he acted like he was like early 20s. Like he still acted like he
a
was one of the boys.
teenager.
But the coach relied on him to be a leader.
Yeah.
But sometimes he wanted to take himself out of that position just to be part of the boys. So
Yeah, it was his first year back out of retirement too.
yeah,
His name was Ludlow Junior Harris, but we called him Junior or JR.
JR.
And he was the most serious professional guy at the rink, away from the rink. Like he would do an Epsom salt the night before a game. On game day, go for a walk. And then as soon as both games are played, Friday, Saturday, and say we won both games, we would have a little team party. And as soon as he get a little bit of alcohol on him, man, he would be the funniest human being ever. Just like a totally different guy. And he'd be the life of the party.
He'd be like Michael Jackson, but a few pounds added on.
Yeah.
And then it'd be all sick and sorry Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Yeah, probably JR and Schmitty. Schmitty used to be do you guys ever hear of the Ice Wars?
Is that the
Like
Fighting
the
on
fighting
yeah,
on ice?
basically like Goon? Yeah.
Yeah,
Liberty.
that's what he did. He was a champion before. So
I think every team has a Schmitty at one point, eh?
yeah,
Every hockey
Schmitty.
player knows a Schmitty.
Is he the fighter on your guys'
Yeah.
team? Like
40-year-old fighter.
He was the oldest guy in the league. Had to have been
Yeah, I think he was like the second oldest guy.
40 though. I
Yeah,
think
he was,
40, really?
He was around there. Yeah.
he was still fighting at that age.
Deadly. What's your cheat day meal?
Oh, mine would definitely be a Whopper meal. Oh my goodness, I love Burger King. Can't get enough of it.
I'd say my cheat day meal would just probably whatever I could get my hands on. That's pretty much what it is. Like today when I went to that fair, I just ate out whatever I could get my hands on. There was hot dogs, there was burgers, there was cake even. Yeah, whatever was right there I could get my hands on.
I think he had 2 hot dogs at one point.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 2 hot dogs, 2
Today?
burgers. Today, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So whoever cooked them, thanks. They were really good.
Yeah. It's kind of unfair, man. Like the burgers, man, and yeah.
And seeing that there's leftovers, I was like,
All that
"Man, I
cake."
just wanted more, but I was like, yeah, I can't. So
Yeah. Okay. What does success look like for you in 5 years?
success.
Well, in 5 years, I'll be 32. So that's probably when I plan on deciding whether or not I want to continue with professional hockey because you can't play professional hockey forever.
Unless you're Schmitty.
But
Unless you're Schmitty or Ovi.
but
Or-
There you go.
I plan to be, hopefully, I want to be in the ECHL next year for sure, and I believe I can get to the American Hockey League as well. So if I can be in the American Hockey League in 5 years and be a veteran in that league, I think that would be success for me.
Yeah,
Deadly.
I'd say that too. Like even if I could get just a lick of an NHL training camp, that's what I would call successful. Like getting an invite.
Yeah.
That's my biggest goal right now is to get an invite to any NHL team.
I'll make some calls for you.
Yeah. 5 years would be an NHL camp invite. Have an organization reach out to me to come and skate. That's my biggest goal. I don't care if I could get a game in. I mean, that would be pretty awesome if I can, or even an exhibition game. But I think just attending an NHL camp by an invitation would be considered successful for me.
Deadly, man.
Yeah.
I think you guys can do it.
Yep.
Any final message to the young kids watching your guys' journey?
As a kid, just be kind to your peers.
Yeah,
Your
we
friends.
can use-
You don't know who's going through what, and being in school as a kid too, take it serious, pay attention, at least until grade 12, and then you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, school, man, and just be kind to everybody else, no matter what.
Deadly.
Yep. Stay away from drugs. Also, that's the big one. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Avoid them the best you can. But also, just stay consistent, working hard. Don't give up on school. Please keep attending. Yeah, as what Dustin said, just be kind to your peers. Be kind to your peers, your supporters, your friends. If you're an athlete and you got supporters, always acknowledge your supporters also. So, yeah.
Yeah. Any this is like for me we're at the end of what I kind of
Yeah.
had prepped up.
Yeah.
So kind of just winging it now. Do you guys have any stories or I don't know anything?
Actually, I have one here. When me and Dustin were in Watertown, our coach and our part owner took us golfing at this one golf course. I think it was by one of the lakes by I think it was Lake Superior. Lake Superior, I believe it was. But that old golf course, apparently it was an old cotton plantation,
Mm.
because off the golf cart tracks, one of my our part owner dragged me in, and on the side of the bush, he's like, "You see this like these white stuff here?" Because I didn't know what it was. He's like, "You see this white stuff here growing?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's cotton." I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, that's this whole field used to be an old cotton field. This used to be an old like slavery plantation." So that's when it automatically came in my brain about the underground railroads. you know. So, and then I realized on the way home that I saw more cotton fields as I paid attention going home, because on the way there I was on my phone. I was like looking down. I wasn't really looking out. But as soon as we were driving home, I seen more like white bushes. So that was like cotton bushes. So there was like a lot of cotton in that area. So
Yeah. That's pretty cool to be like in a space of history like that, right?
yeah,
To know that slavery is real and something that was really happening and people were, you know,
yeah.
getting, yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Dustin, if you don't mind. What was your experience like playing junior hockey?
Um, yeah, basically, junior hockey was a bit of a roller coaster for me. Um, it all started when I was finishing my second year bantam. I remember sitting in English class in high school, and I was waiting to be drafted in the WHL draft. And sure enough, I remember running down to the library, checking the computer for the draft results, and sure enough, I went fourth round, 82nd overall to the Moose Jaw Warriors, and that's where my junior career had started, was being drafted. And yeah, I played my first year in the WHL in 2016 for the Moose Jaw Warriors, and but it started prior before that as well. My junior career, I was playing Major AAA hockey in Moose Jaw for the Moose Jaw Generals the year they were hosting the TELUS Cup National Championships. I was the coach cut me from the team, believe it or not, and it came to a shock to me. And yeah, I got cut from that team. And my first junior experience was playing in Flin Flon, Manitoba for the Flin Flon Bombers. And that's where I played my 16-year-old year up in Flin Flon, my first taste of junior hockey, all the way up north, and then got cut again just before the deadline and got sent down to Junior B to play for the West Central Rage, which is based out of Corrobert, Saskatchewan. So I lived in a few different towns at that point, and the following year I went back up to Flin Flon, started the year there, and then finally the Warriors had called me up to the WHL, and that's where I basically started my WHL career, was being called up for the Warriors, and managed to stick the rest of the year. And then I played my second year with the Warriors again, obviously, and broke my jaw that second year. And then that was just before Christmas of my second year. And I came back from that injury just before the deadline again. They traded me home to the Saskatoon Blades, where I got to play for my hometown team, the Saskatoon Blades. And then finished out that year, and that's when I retired, because I just had a bad experience with the injury I went through. And that was basically the gist of my junior career. But yeah, for the most part, I had nothing but fun. Met lifelong friends I have today. Got to live in Flin Flon, Manitoba, Moose Jaw. So yeah, I have nothing but good memories at the same time as that one bad memory of breaking my jaw.
Yeah. Any notable players that you played with in those times that are maybe
Yeah,
made it?
my captain for the Moose Jaw Warriors, Braden Point, now plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's I think he's scored 50 goals now twice in his NHL career. But yeah, he was by far the best player I played with, and then playing against. Obviously, in the WHL would have been countless of NHL players that are in the NHL today. So, but yeah, Braden Point was by far the best player I've got to play against.
How was
or
he?
with. I mean,
Yeah, like how was he as a person? Like just a normal human being, right? Probably works hard and
yeah. I mean, he was he was just all natural, like pure natural skill. And from when I met him when he was 16 and I was 15, I could just tell right away this guy was NHL bound, and he knew it. Everybody knew it. Um, and him being a smaller player too, it never affected his game. He was always so hard to contain, to defend against. Could score at any given moment he wanted, and um, yeah, I mean off the ice stuff too. He was always he worked hard on the ice, but he was very relaxed off the ice. Just because I think it was hockey became so easy to him
really.
that he had that room to just relax and enjoy himself off the ice.
Yeah.
Chill out a bit.
Because just some players you just come across like that where the game of hockey becomes so easy to them.
Yeah, that's from like working so hard. that
Yeah.
you make hockey look easy. You know.
And it all stems back to probably him putting in countless hours of practice, shooting pucks, maybe even working out for him. But yeah, I mean, you could just tell that he was light years ahead of everybody in his own age group, probably because of all the extra work he had done prior to
Yeah.
to where I had met him.
Awesome. um, what about later? Do you have anybody you've kind of shared the ice with, like that? Kind of maybe inspired you, just skating with them.
Um, there's a few guys that I usually train with in Lloyd. Like there's TJ Lloyd, Kobe Walker, Chase Wouters. Also like Indigenous players like Riley McKay, Tristan Langan. Just playing with them and then looking at the things that they've done. It's pretty cool. And I guess training with Jager Furcus. He is I think he was 37th, I think overall pick for Seattle Kraken in the 2022 draft. He's like a little small ginger guy, but man, he's good. He's fast. But he can shoot a puck too really well. Yeah.
What about that Pavel
That Pavel McKenzie.
McKenzie?
He was one when I was playing in Tisdale, the midget AAA team there. He was one of our practice players, so I saw him a few times at our practices. So, and he would kind of sit like across the room from me, but on our end of the room.
Mm.
But yeah, he went to I think he was going to school in Cumberland, but he was like traveling back and forth to our practices. But our practices were early. It was like 7:30 in the morning. So, and I was surprised he was making those practices. But I mean, you could tell all those practices and those early mornings really paid off because look where he's at, you know. But yeah, I shared the ice with him. He's a good guy all around. But that's all I know so far.
Yeah, I know that's really cool, man. You know, and like kind of part of the reason why I'm asking is for the young listeners, right?
Yeah.
To know that something like this is possible, like what you
Yeah.
guys are doing, what you guys achieved, you know, to
Mhm.
be able to play at that level and share the ice with other people like that. I think it kind of shows that you guys are at that level too.
Yeah.
and that other kids looking up to you guys can do it too if
Yeah.
they put in the work and the time. Yeah, so and I think that's really inspiring,
Yeah.
especially for the young native kids to know that yeah, like that it's possible. Yeah, so I think that's really cool. Before we go, is there any shout outs you guys would like to do? Like your any teammates, coaches, or anything
Schmitty.
like that? or Schmitty.
Yeah, shout out to Schmitty,
Yeah,
Justin
shout out-
Schmidt, for
yeah.
protecting me and Lair
Yeah.
while we were in Watertown. Because honestly, that's what his job was.
It was to protect us out there. So
And he was the first teammate I ever met to see a role like that in real life, was
yeah,
an enforcer, a guy that
seeing like how an enforcer lives day to day.
Yeah.
it was free. I'll never forget the first day I seen him punching the punching bag in the dressing room. I was like,
Yeah.
holy smokes.
Yeah, in the dressing room
Really?
there was a punching bag set up in the middle.
Jesus.
Like we had a sweet setup in the dressing room. There's a couch, a big couch layout, and we had like a big counter with a microwave, coffee machine. Then we had a TV, which we barely used. Yeah.
Did he ever get to the point where he was like Ross the boss, punching the wall, getting ready for the game?
No, he's been punching the bag before every game.
Really?
So, oh yeah.
Yeah, tapes up the wrist.
tapes
Oh
up the
man,
wrist,
he's
yeah.
he gets
And-
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I guess you gotta get yourself ready to go fight another guy whose
Yeah,
job is the
yeah.
exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's a job not everyone can do, and I have nothing
No.
but respect for guys that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
Part of
hard.
hockey.
It's hard. Actually, when you think of enforcers, it's hard. Knowing your job is to fight every night, it's sometimes scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even the movies that are coming out or like documentaries, right? With guys like that and the trauma and
Yeah.
things they deal with after their careers, physically and mentally, right? So
Yeah. Like knowing some enforcers that retire really late, they're not capable of working due to severe CTE, bad CTE. Like you can, like it's rough. That's why like some minor pro enforcers they don't last very long. They only fight for like a couple of years and then they retire.
yeah.
Those are the smart ones they're thinking for their life. And
Yeah.
then you got old guys that are still fighting.
Yeah, I guess shout out just to my mom too, Sherry Perlat.
Yeah, shout out to my parents, Larry Patagan and Verna Patagan.
And also my buddy Philip McCauley. He's been nothing but helpful.
Any funny street hockey memories?
And Emma Bowles. That's
Yeah.
it for me.
Yeah, we got a question up there.
Yeah, we got a question on YouTube. Any funny street hockey memories? That's from JD Perlat. Probably has something for you, Dustin.
Yeah.
Funny street hockey memories.
I remember playing street hockey in Dundonald Village in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It was a duplex little area for it's a duplex area for low income families. And that's where I grew up basically my whole entire life with my two siblings and my mom. And my family and friends would always come over and we'd have big street hockey games, and we would determine the size of the length of the game from net to net from putting the nets on the inside of the speed bumps. So you put one net in front of the one speed bump, and then the next speed bump you put the other net. And I remember my brother, he put a blue puck on the speed bump in the wintertime, and so when he shot it, it would ramp up. And I was standing on the other side, and he put the puck up on the speed bump, took a slap shot, and it hit me square in the face. And I went running inside, screaming, "Oh!" crying. And I was just remembering, looking back, I was like, "What was my brother thinking?" shooting a puck up and head high in the air, hit me square in the face.
Blair, anything?
Any funny street hockey memories?
Road hockey.
Road hockey. Let's see. Do I have any? Oh my god, yeah. So last year when I was playing in the Vancouver Island in Comox, we had like a little road hockey game against our fans, and it's one of our diehard fans. He's kind of like a special needs person, but he volunteered to ref our little a street hockey game. But I think he took that road hockey game a little bit too serious in his own hands, because he was swearing at the kids, swearing at us, like to keep it down. And our coach was going live for it too. He was on his phone, and he just popped straight into the camera and just he dropped like the biggest f bomb into the camera, and just the way he looked and said it into the camera, it was hilarious, but it was also not appropriate at that time because there was children present.
Yeah.
So he got an earful from our ownership to not do that again, but it was funny.
Well, he'd be ready for the big times.
He
ref
would
the
be,
big time games.
right? Yeah, he would be ready. But it was funny, but it was also fun. You know,
Yeah.
that experience made it a lot more better. So
He just got right into it. Reffing.
oh yeah, yes he did. He like put his life in that reffing
Calling
position.
everything.
calling every slash, every little dash to the ankle. Yeah.
They might need him for the game tonight.
Oilers game tonight.
Yep. Yeah. Oilers, go look for your ref in Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
This guy. Okay, guys. I'm done. I don't know if you guys have anything more.
Do you have anything?
No, just thanks for bringing me on to
Yeah,
the Seventh
thanks.
Generation podcast. I hopefully some young listeners out there were touched by our stories and
Yeah.
some of our advice, I guess we were trying to give tonight, and
Yeah.
maybe someday we can see some of the young listeners also be playing professional hockey in their future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Mitch?
No, it's nice to have you guys here. Nice to meet you,
Yeah.
man. Like you guys' journey, it's good. You guys are inspiring. You guys are doing good. Keep
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
I know there's gonna be some young listeners out there, young hockey players.
Yeah.
Definitely need to watch this. They're gonna get some good advice.
Yeah.
You guys you're doing good. You guys are good role models. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Any socials? Are you guys active on social media? Do you guys leave anything behind for fans or followers or anything, or do you try to just keep to yourself off of that,
Usually try to keep to myself.
like
Off
off
social
of
media?
Yeah.
You do your own dances on TikTok. You don't want people to see.
Yep, they're strictly in my drafts and they're staying in there for a reason. So
Shared only to you.
only to me. Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm not too big on social media myself, but
Yeah, me neither.
Cool.
But I like to get a good picture taken of me every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
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 Maybe before the season begins, this next season coming up for you guys, yeah, maybe it'd be nice if we could do this again. If maybe you come down and visit before Lair takes off, or even if not, if that doesn't work out that way, maybe message us where you guys are going and
Yeah.
where people could watch your guys' games and stuff while you guys are out there.
Yeah.
sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do they stream your guys' games on anywhere as far as like
Yeah, they do,
televised?
but it's like
Yeah.
you got to pay a monthly fee or
Oh,
whatever. It's
oh.
called Flow Hockey.
Flow hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're gonna start doing that here
Yeah.
with our rec games.
It's good.
Make them pay.
With our minor hockey games.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. But yeah, if there's nothing else,
Any more questions from the fans that are
yeah.
watching?
Any questions out there?
Sure.
And I'd like to point out for any young hockey players or youth in Onion Lake or hockey parents in Onion Lake, I will be open this summer for one-on-one sessions that can include off the ice and on ice. I would just need your basic contact information and what skill that would need work on. So that's for any community members looking for a trainer for the summer for their children or just yourselves. I'll be open. I'll be available this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd back this guy 100% on all of that. When I go down to Georgia, I already know I'm going to be calling Lair for a workout plan or workouts because this guy's nothing but knowledgeable on that side of being athletic and being a
Yeah.
hockey player. This guy's got workouts that'll
Yeah.
change your game and help you get ready. Honestly, he's
Was making this guy look like a ballerina in the preseason in
Yeah.
Watertown.
honestly this guy he's going to be a huge help to me this summer anyway, and
Yeah.
he can help anybody else too that wants to utilize this guy.
Yeah. Deadly. There you have it, folks. Larry's gonna be around all summer. He'll be available.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just get at me on my Facebook.
Yeah.
I'll be open.
I was thinking too while we were this comment about the street hockey, because Larry's gonna be around for the summer with our program. Maybe we could start a ball hockey thing, and we'll get you to kind of lead that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be good to get the young kids or whoever in a res that wants to get that hockey itch out of you. You could come out, play
I can
hockey.
probably come out of retirement. I'll come out of retirement. for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Get
Yeah, there
get
you go.
some exercise,
Yeah.
right?
And get some exercise.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else?
That'll be it for me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, right on. We'll end it off there. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for doing this, Dustin and Lair. I know this was kind of luck of the draw that this happened.
Yeah.
Dustin came down, visit Lair. I know you guys are getting ready to take off this weekend, right? To go play somewhere.
Yeah.
You wanna put a little plug on that, or?
Yep. This weekend we will be in Regina, Saskatchewan, competing at the Oscana Cup. We will be representing Canoe Lake Young Guns. Funny thing is, Onion Lake finally beat them for the first time last weekend at the Senators Cup. So that was a good feeling. We got we got the game winner sitting right next here.
Oh, really? Yeah, you were helping Onion?
Yeah, I played with Onion for Senators
Yeah.
Cup, and then I'll play with them again for the Fred Saskatchewans.
Okay.
You guys are gonna be popular walking into that dressing room, eh?
Maybe.
There'll be some jokes, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
Deadly. So you will be around then, maybe a little bit, or no, or yeah, till May 20th.
Well, actually, I'll be going to obviously with Laird down to Regina tonight, and then after the tournament, I'm actually flying to Georgia for a week, and then I'll come back
Okay.
for the Freddie, and then that'll be it for me.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, if you happen to come back to Onion, come visit us, and yeah, maybe we could set something up.
Dean Gamble, what time is your practice, boys? It's supposed to be about 9 minutes ago.
We're going across the street right now.
It said
For the rink.
6:30, but
I think you got to bag skate these three, Dean. This whole thing was their idea.
We told them you guys got to be out of
We
here
were
by
trying
6.
to kick them out of here, but
They're like, no, it's fine.
they're
we can
trying to
stay.
slack. All right, guys. Again, yeah, thanks for doing this. Good luck on your guys' journey. Good luck this weekend at Ascana Cup and Freddie Sasakamu's tournament. Yeah, and we wish you guys all the best. And hope for the viewers out there, hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, again, thanks for doing this, guys. It was really nice to share some time with you guys and hear your stories. Mitch, thanks for all the hype. Yeah.
Here
Right
all
on.
day.
Alrighty,
All
thanks, boys.
right, guys. Have a good evening. Go Oilers.